S80 is Volvo's attempt at breaking into a market that's been dominated by the Germans, particularly BMW and Audi, but Mercedes have an E-Class in there as well. So you're looking at the A6 and the 5 Series. If I was looking for competition, then wouldn't necessarily be the ones I'd want to compete against, but the S80 is right there. And where it's trying to compete most is on equipment levels versus prices. But besides all that, everyone in Timahoe, which is all of 4 people, are now looking at me. That means I need to go driving. It has had a facelift, but it's basically the same S80 underneath. You get a 2-litre diesel, puts out 136 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much, but actually does shift it along pretty good, and it does pretty good fuel economy as well. You're talking about 5 litres, 4.9 to 5.1 litres per 100 kilometres, give or take, depending on how you use it. There is no sports mode, there is nothing like that. It is the car, this is it, there is no more. Now, I have never been as comfortable as I have been in this car while I've been testing it. It is so comfortable. Apart from the fact it's got leather seats, on a roasting hot day you just die. You can do with some cooling in the seats as well. And it doesn't have heated seats either. Okay, that's not in this. But it does have leather seats, and that's important. It does have an automatic gearbox. It does have a 2-litre diesel engine, and it is insanely comfortable with lots of kit as well. There's Bluetooth, there is My Car. They even give you a bloody manual on how to drive economically in the computer, so when you're bored you never run out of something to read. It's always there on the screen in front of you. I have cruise control as well, lots of stuff on the dashboard. Of course it's a Volvo, so there's lots of safety, tons of safety equipment in the car as well. As you'd expect, it meets and exceeds the 5 stars that are possible. Of course it does for Volvo, it easily gets them. But comfort wise, this car is just like driving butter. It is. Listen, I'm on a rough road. I mean, I'm on a proper rough road here. You can see me bouncing in the seat. I can't hear a damn thing. Nothing from anywhere. Now this car is intending on mixing it with the A6, the BMW 5 Series and the Mercedes E-Class. Now, I will tell you straight off, it doesn't have the refinements, the driving refinements of either the A6 or the 5 Series. The 5 Series will probably be the best driver's car out of the 3. The Audi would have the best interior, easily, and probably just edges it on the looks as well when it's in the right spec. When you get the xenon headlamps and the nice big alloys and things, it does edge the BMW a little bit on the looks. The Mercedes, well, there's a new one coming, so I'm not going to comment too much. The E-Class at the moment, there is a new one that I'm going to be testing in a few weeks' time that I've driven only very, very, very briefly earlier in the year, so I won't really comment because I thought it was very good on the brief test drive. I have a funny feeling it's actually going to be pretty good to drive. But getting back to where the S80 fits into this, the S80 then sits there as this kind of mix and match car. It's very hard to kind of pin down what it's trying to achieve. If it's trying to go up against the Germans, it's doing a good job. They're on the right track. There is a lot of stuff, but there's nothing extraordinary that shouts at me that says that this is better than any of the other rest of them. This is maybe as good as the rest of them, but it probably isn't better. Plus, it doesn't have the kind of badge snob appeal as well, which would be a big factor for a lot of buyers out there. You know, having an Audi badge or a BMW badge or a Mercedes badge outside your door, in a lot of people's minds, would be preferable to having a Volvo badge outside the door, even though Volvo would be more exclusive to some degree. But what the Volvo say they're doing is that they're making this car a little over 37 grand. This car, this one with a 2-litre diesel, automatic, leather interior. There is an option, I think the only option on this is the xenon headlamps. That's the only one. Other than that, this is the car you'll buy in the dealership. Now, if you they say, this is what Volvo says, not my words now, but if you spec up an Audi A6 or a BMW 5 Series to the same level this is at, you're talking about a 10 grand gulf between the two of them. Now, I find it hard to justify a 10 grand step from this to any of the other two. I don't know if they're 10 grand better than this car. That's the key. And that's a difficult one to swallow, because I am a big fan of both. Well, actually, I'm a fan of all three. The Mercedes E-Class, the A6 and the 5 Series are all bloody good cars. There'd be little to kind of split the difference between any one of them. But this one is different. This one is built to slouch along the road. It's not built to be in a hurry. It's not built to be startlingly quick or fast around a track or anything else. It's just designed to shuttle you and your family or your business stuff wherever it is you need to go. And that's the key of this S80. Really is that calm. And yet it has a little burble from the engine as well. And it's actually quite a nice burble, if I'm honest. I quite like it. Tractor coming up that way, so I'm going to go. Now, it doesn't have a lot of horsepower. I'm not saying that this is startlingly quick off the mark, but there's a nice engine note to go with that burbly sound that's happening there as well. I quite like that. It's quite good. Anyway, get in touch with your little Volvo dealers and you will see the S80 might be something that you should consider, considering the price difference between it and the other brands. And then, of course, considering the difference between having a car outside your door and then having 10 grand in your pocket. You know, you could spend that money on a lot of things. The 10 grand you save could be spent on a little holiday or a big holiday or another car. Strangely, you could get a couple of other cars out there sub 10 grand, you know, a Sandero or something. Sure, they're around 10 grand. You know, there's plenty of stuff to do with 10 grand in your pocket if Volvo is right, which I'm sure I'll be told they're not. Anyway, I like that. Anyway, that's it for the Volvo S80. I shall see you on the far side.